Hey guys, it's Merrick, and I've got another gameplay commentary here today. In this one, I'm going to be revisiting the Godsaw commentary and actually extending it a bit here, so we're going to go from there. So obviously, I'm playing Planetside on NC with the Godsaw and a relatively standard loadout that I've talked about before. Godsaw without a compensator and with laser sight so that I can get the better hipfire. We have Adrenaline Suit for the continued uptime along with Assimilate, and Survivalist to help with rotating around and potentially getting a little bit of extra heal in there. So, from the original Godsaw commentary, we are actually going to fast forward about 7 minutes because there was absolutely no fighting once that last video ended, and as we get back in here, even though 7 minutes have passed, I've barely gotten another 5 kills. The entirety of this fight is going to happen on the defense of the Econom Biolab because this fight went on for a little while and actually became pretty thick. So, we are currently underground with TR pushing down, trying to take the point from us, and we have an equal stalemate, so currently the flag is not moving at all. We are trying to push up various sets of staircases, and they're trying to push down various sets of staircases. So these fights are kind of tight quarters, meaning there's a good chance of getting overrun if you're out of position. Don't worry though, I'll be completely ignoring that and pushing up unnecessarily when there's not a point to do so and dying for it, don't worry. Challenge here on fighting in this tight confines of a corner is you want to push up past your allies so you can actually get a kill, but if you push too far up and don't actually have allies around you, you have no actual cover, no pseudo cover being your teammates, and no actual pressure coming out from your teammates, so it's very easy to fall over. So, once I get taken out up on their staircase, as I'm returning to the fight, they're actually already pushing down one of the staircases close to our spawn. I'm actually able to find a really tight angle and get a lot of pickoffs. From here though, eventually there's a lull in their pressure, and our teammates are trying to push up and take more ground, which means it's going to be harder for me to actually get anything done. So I actually wind up rotating over to the other staircase and trying to push up for a flank. And while I think it's a pretty decent flank, I don't push aggressively enough because I'm trying to get some kills and I'm worried they're going to swing on me, but this showcases the benefits and negatives of having some teammates around me. I really should have died absolutely instantly there. Teammates applying some extra pressure gave me a few extra seconds, but it wasn't enough to get any kills, and I just wind up doing some damage while we take the staircase. Going back for a second push though, I actually take it a little more seriously. I take the corner much more tightly, and I make sure to pick off people just over the edge rather than exposing my full body. There's not many allies up here to peek with me, so there's nobody to use as cover or to draw fire or to even draw anybody's attention. So if I'm out there in the open at this point, it would only be me that they can see, and only me that they would shoot at. But eventually we seem to clear out this first level of the staircase, and we try to go pushing up to the top, but that is still a secondary choke that is very hard to take. The way the hallway is set up, they should actually always be farther away from that close corner on the left, so if they're holding that corner on the doorway, they should always see you first, unless you just happen to desync them completely and they don't get to react at all. But because of my incredible luck, as I'm running back down to recover from one of the fights, I run directly into a Max that is coming up on a flank, and despite a million people off to its side, probably actually about 4, he decides that he only got eyes for me. Thanks, babe. And we get back into the fight. I spend a few more lives taking fights on these corners and along these staircases, pretty much all among the same rules. I don't follow my own rules perfectly, but the general idea is to try to hold a tight angle on the corner and kick people off as they're coming down, and only to take more wider angles as you have allies that can be there to soak target acquisitions and shots from others to allow you to apply pressure. After a little while of trying to fight at this doorway over and over again, I finally get tired of it, and I don't really think I'm making much gains anymore. I am still making trades, but I feel like I'm coming out relatively even rather than continuing to make progress or trade well. So I actually run back downstairs and look for an alternative place to fight at. However, I didn't realize how fucked we already were, and by the time I get down here, there's already people pushing in the other side of the building. I get res and continue to push after them, flushing a few of them out of their positions, but I feel like it's something important to mention that the staircase that they used to push down was undefended, and had been undefended the entire time this fight had been going on. They just never really thought to take the time to flank around and come down this way. So now that some people have noticed it, some people are starting to using it more, and it becomes a more, not a primary path of the fight, but it grows in relevance to said fight. As I get back up, I try to push back over to go secure that staircase, and there's already more flanks coming up to our main staircase here. So I decide to completely abandon this staircase, continue to push down the side of the building, and try to secure or at least stall the push coming in that way. I see somebody on my mini-map, and I notice that they're coming in through an additional third staircase that is much closer and actually behind us this time, and once I clean them out, I'm able to move on, but it seems like they just keep finding extra staircases to get down here, which most of the time, people don't actually pay attention to. Most Planetside fights wind up having a primary entrance and exit, and that's kind of all of it is. I'm surprised by the amount of flanking going on, but it makes this fight a lot more enjoyable and dynamic than it would have otherwise been. So, while I'm surprised, I'm not actually complaining. But if they're gonna flank, so can I. They've only been using the left staircase of this entrance, so I decide I should get some good return if I walk up the right staircase. And well, I'll just let this play out. Hey, we did it. Good flank, everybody. Okay, oh shit. I wasn't directly in front of the max, so he forgot that I existed, and I'm able to get a good flank and get the finish on him, but I'm not able to finish off the guy next to him with the knife. And as I'm running out of spawn again, I have to pick up a few people coming from that back staircase that I mentioned before, and we decide just to push that way and try to hold there. I thought it was just a small trickle of red coming in, but it seems like this is an actual fucking squad or two. This is an actual problem, so I hold this corner and just try to tack as hard as I can. I drop a zoning nade when I have to reload, just in case anybody tried to push really super fast. It would delay them slightly, but because of the speed of reloads in this game, it's actually never going to cover the full reload. And no sooner do I get myself back ready for fighting, than are we overrun, and I have to run back and push that side yet again. I imagine I'm going to have better cover going through the middle, but looking at the mini-map from a few seconds earlier, I actually should have known there were going to be people here. But as I turn this corner, I'm able to sort out the few people here and continue pushing to try to re-establish some control on our side of the area. Mind you, this is barely outside of our spawn, so while we have control of all the points, we actually don't have much control over the entire building. Red also seems to have a foothold in the back corner of our base here, so I try to push up and get an angle on them, but as I get up there, I realize it's worse than I thought. They are slowly being cleaned out, but there's a whole lot more people there than I thought there was in the first place, and after taking some damage from a different angle that I wasn't prepared for, I decide just to back off as I reload. As I heal and head back, they're still not only refusing to die, but they're starting to make a little bit of ground back, as a lot of the blue that was in there has been cleared out, and they're starting to make a little bit of ground as they push up. I don't know how many there are, but like I said, I did see that a lot of the blue have been cleared out, so I'm trying to take an angle that forces them out into the open when I fight them. They can't really do much from that corner, but if they want to push up or peek out, a lot of them, if they want to go to the left, have to cross this fucking thing in front of me. There is, as we peeked out to the right, that other section to the right, but that seems to have its own people covering it, so I feel like this is a very, very good position, and I get a lot of kills and a good return from it. Technically speaking, the only thing that I would have to worry about from here would be if that right staircase that had blue people on it, and the people to my left that are shooting down that right hallway collapsed suddenly, and they all ran out and swung on me. That is something to be aware of, something that I would not be able to survive just by sheer weight of numbers, and I would not really have much counterplay for outside of maybe a C4. I don't run C4 with Emmy though. But I continue to hold the angle, try to take fights as they're running across, and basically just play reserve to make sure that I can tax them without falling over to get the best returns possible. This is one of the few situations I feel like I'm able to pick a spot and let them come to me to fight rather than having to push up to an engagement spot against them, if that makes sense. But as our video winds down, this is the last fight that we actually take part in, and our overall score winds up at 119 kills and 29 deaths. Taking away the 55 and 12 that we started off the last session with, that brings this segment to a 57 and 17 scoreline, roughly 3.5 KD. As always, let me know what you think, let me know what you do like, and let me know what you don't like, so that I can improve these going forward. Thank you guys for your support, and I'll see you guys next time.